with this wave and with all of the different technologies out there, it's really easy to sound like a robot. It's really easy to copy and paste. It's really easy to strip away the humanness and that authenticity that your business needs and that your content needs. So I really just hope that the way that I've been using it will inspire you to try something new and feel empowered, like I said. Welcome to Building Unapologetically, the podcast where we dive into the raw journey of personal growth, business building, and faith-infused strategies. I'm your host, Jourdan, and I'm here to share my unfiltered highs, lows, and the lessons I've learned along the way. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and empowered to build your dreams unapologetically. All right, so we're diving into the wonderful world of AI, specifically ChatGPT. There are so many freaking different programs out there for AI. I've seen so many, like video editing ones, photos, get your headshots. Like there's so many, and it's very easy to become overwhelmed with it. So I really wanted to use this episode to help you feel empowered by AI and just share with you some things or some ways that I use ChatGPT within my business. I'm going to give you 3 ways, and I really hope this is helpful for you. I want creating and running your business to be a work smarter, not harder type of effort. And so I really hope that this podcast and the 3 things that I share, that you take notes and just experiment. I titled this AI, but make it authentic, because with this wave and with all of the different technologies out there, it's really easy to sound like a robot. It's really easy to copy and paste. It's really easy to strip away the humanness and that authenticity that your business needs and that your content needs. So I really just hope that the way that I've been using it will inspire you to try something new and feel empowered, like I said. Let's dive into it. I have ChatGPT up right now on my computer so that I can kind of read through some of the different ways and the different folders I use ChatGPT for. So I want to start with obviously Instagram content. Again, keeping it very authentic and keeping it very myself. How am I using ChatGPT to take the load off of me? And I'm kind of scrolling through and I'm going to look through some of the prompts that I use. Okay, so one of the things that I do with ChatGPT is I write out my captions. I spend time batching my captions ahead of time, and I create a Google Doc and I batch the content captions for the week. I do them a week at a time. Sometimes if I have more time, I do them for 2 weeks. And then what I do is I plug it into ChatGPT and ask it to rate my caption on a scale of 1 to 10 for effectiveness. And how does it read? And is it clear? Does it evoke certain emotions? I love seeing how I can punch it up and improve it so that my audience resonates with it a bit more. And then I take that feedback and rewrite my caption a different way. Sometimes I use it to punch up my call to actions, right? So I'll plug my call to actions in there and I'll say, maybe, how do I take this call to action and come from a place of empowering my audience and getting them to take action immediately? And I ask it to give me 10 different options. That's a great way that I do it. Another way that I've used ChatGPT for Instagram is plugging in the who I'm speaking to, and who I'm speaking to are heart-centered entrepreneurs, typically that run a service-based business. And what are some ways to create content that speak to them? Here's what content has already worked. And so I give them a breakdown of that. And then I ask ChatGPT to give me maybe 10 additional ideas that I could think about or explore. So those are some ways that I use it. I'm going to say never, because I really can't think of any way where I've asked it to create captions from scratch. Like, can you just write a caption? Because oftentimes it just comes off too robotic. It doesn't feel natural. So I do really love it for that. Another way that I use ChatGPT is to punch up emails that I'm sending to people. Not my newsletter emails, we'll talk about that last, but maybe I'm writing an email to a prospective client, or I'm I'm responding back to someone that inquired about my services, I'll first write that email and then I'll plug it into ChatGPT and I'll ask them to punch it up from a more professional, maybe a warm, maybe a excited. I make sure that I tell the emotion that I want evoked so that we can punch that up. Maybe it's not an email, maybe it's a LinkedIn request. And I let ChatGPT know that I met Laura at a recent conference. This is her title and her role. This is what we talked about. I'm really interested in doing this with Laura. Write a short LinkedIn note as I'm sending her a request. So I really give it as much as I can. That's really the secret, is giving your ChatGPT as much context as possible, as much as you can provide, as much as you know the facts. I really love using the voice note feature of ChatGPT. So instead of typing my prompts, I use the app a lot more and I just speak into my phone and give as much context as possible so that it is as authentic as possible. And then do I just copy and paste and send? No. I read through that email or I read through that caption and I make sure it sounds like me. I make sure there's words in there that I would never say. I remove them and I replace them because it really needs to feel authentic. It really needs to feel like Jourdan. It really needs to feel like Virgin Media. So I really encourage you, when you're doing this, ask yourself, is there more context I can add? Is there something else that I can include? Is there a feeling that I would like to add? Is there an emotion that I would like to evoke? I think adding those things have been really helpful in getting the response to be so authentic and so in tune to who I am and how I'm showing up. Okay, so the last way, and maybe I'll do a bonus, we'll see. The last way that I really utilize ChatGPT is my newsletter. So for those of you that are not on my newsletter yet, we'll leave the link to sign up for our newsletter in the show notes. And I send out a weekly newsletter to my audience, and our open rates are at a little over 50%. Okay, woo woo. Hey, newsletter listeners. I really pride myself on my newsletter and I really enjoy writing my newsletter. And so some of the ways I use ChatGPT is very similar to the way I use it for Instagram. First I batch my newsletter emails and then I do plug in to ChatGPT and ask it to punch it up in any way, any emotion. I ask it to rate my newsletters. There are times where maybe I am on a long walk and I'm just talking, voice note 10 minutes into ChatGPT saying, okay, so we're writing another newsletter this week and I'm not going to read the full thing, but I'll read one that I've done in hopes that it'll be helpful. So let's see. Okay, this is so long, I'm not reading the whole thing, but I'll read maybe the first 30 seconds of it. We're going to write a new newsletter and it's going to be about why nobody shows up for your live videos. I really want to talk about the fact that going live for your business is one of the best ways to generate more leads and close clients on social media. And yesterday, I put up a carousel post walking through how powerful live video can be. And oftentimes we are discouraged by the fact that nobody from our audience or a small amount of our audience is showing up for our live videos. So I'm going to break down that post even more in depth because there is a way that we can increase show up rate for our audience. So this email is going to break down into 3 ways. Initially, I would love for the email to ask the reader, when was the last time you prepared your audience for your live video? And so oftentimes we are wanting an audience, but not doing the legwork ahead of time. And so I would want them to read through this newsletter and just choose one action they can take for the next 3 series of IG Lives and repeat this same action within a 30-day period. Here are the 3 things I want to break down. Number 1. And so I go through and I just keep talking and talking and talking. This is a long one. So I was probably talking for a good 10 minutes. And then what ChatGPT does, and I also say at the end, I think this is really helpful, make this email very informative and very practical. Try to stick to as much as my language as possible. Keep as much language of what I said above within this email. What? Hello, there's the authenticity right there. I ask it to build in as much as what I've said. The ain't, the y'alls, the wis, the you guys, all of that I ask to keep to maintain that authenticness of who I am, because these are my words. These are my ideas. These are the 3 ways I want to break it down. And all that I'm doing is asking ChatGPT to organize that chaos. Then I additionally ask it to give me 10 different subject line options. And then from those subject line options, I usually don't use any of them. I just pull words from each of them and create my own thing. All right. So you can make it authentic. You can make it your own. I'm going to share with you one bonus. I keep talking about CCA because I really do think I'm going to bring it back. If you're interested, or if you know what CCA is and you're like, yes, Jourdan, bring it back, do me a favor and DM me the word CCA, or the letters CCA. I want to see who is interested, who knew about CCA. I just want to talk to you and see what would be helpful and what would you like to see in 2024 if we do bring it back. So as a bonus, I want to talk to you about how I use ChatGPT to help me get innovative with my current offerings and thinking about ways to enhance it. So I do have a tab in here. Where is it? It's about CCA. Scaling and growing CCA. Some of the prompts that I've used in here, well, first of all, I tell ChatGPT what CCA is, who it's for, what we've accomplished in the past, what's included, what the support looked like, who were the people that went through the program, how long I ran the program for, what the price point is of the program, what the goal in the program promise is. You see how specific I'm getting? And then after I'm done dumping all of those things, all the feedback from my past clients, some of the wins that I've had, all of that, I then ask, how can I make this program better? How can I get results like XYZ with my students? In the climate that we're in right now, what would be beneficial? How can we track results better? Those are the things that I'm asking so that I can improve my program in ways that I didn't even think of. So it really has expanded my mind. We're like, oh, should we do something in person? Oh, should we create an alumni program? Oh, should we extend the support? Oh, should we have different types of courses or classes included, right? It really has expanded my mind. And then how do we scale this, right? How do we serve more people at that high level without me burning out? Who do I hire? Who do I bring into this? Do you see how you can start to elevate your thinking by getting help? And I know it's AI and it's like not a person, and I get it, but your mind will be blown and expanded because you're learning things that maybe you wouldn't have even thought of. So I really love taking my current offerings, or maybe current offerings in 2024, and thinking of ways to punch that up. How can I make this an even better experience for my clients? And really just taking note of that. Who do I need to bring on to help execute it? What is the process? What would be the process of executing this thing? So I guess what I would love for you to take away from this episode is, how can I start to incorporate just little things, little asks of ChatGPT? And for clarification, I don't have the paid version. I use the free version, and it does just enough that I need. I don't feel as though I need to upgrade right now. I feel like it's doing what it needs to do, and I've gotten so much out of it. And so I encourage you to try it. I'll leave the link in the show notes of the exact ChatGPT I use, because I think there are a ton out there. And then again, this is just an insider because I'm just curious. For those of you that are interested in CCA or would be interested in a group coaching program, if you're a heart-centered female entrepreneur offering a service-based offer, running a service-based business, DM me CCA. I just love to chat in the DMs. I don't have anything to offer or sell right now, but I would love to know what would make this a slam dunk for you as we start to ideate and think about bringing this program back. I hope this encourages and empowers you to not be scared of AI. There's so much out there, and there's so much that I want to learn and get to know, but it all starts with just having the courage to try and just start. So those are 3 ways, and I threw a bonus one in there, and I really hope that it was helpful. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a huge favor. Your reviews mean everything to me, and just seeing that we have crossed over 1,000 downloads on this podcast, I can't even. We're going to keep this thing going. I'm excited to say that we're going to keep this thing going. So do me a favor, leave me a review, rate the podcast, share it with a friend, because I want more and more business owners out there to continue building unapologetically. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to Building Unapologetically. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, a 5-star rating, and share this episode in your Instagram stories ASAP. Don't forget to tag me at Jourdan Guyton. Your feedback and support truly means the world to us and helps us reach more listeners who are on their journey to building unapologetically.